This video is sponsored by Pine Tree Garden Seeds. Today is a fun day. I get to start my Coleus from seed, and I am very excited because I am not only going to start the ones that I'm going to use for my home garden, but also I am going to start a bunch for my seedling sale. I am being super picky about the plants that I am going to be selling at the seedling sale, mainly because I do want to have plenty of choices, but I don't want to have too many varieties. But deciding to sell Coleus in small containers is definitely a must. If my voice sounds a little bit off, it's because I am just getting over a cold. Finally, I am getting a lot better, but my voice still a little weird. The three varieties that I am going to start for Coleus, both for my home garden and for the seedling sale, are Mighty Mosaic, which is my favorite Coleus. If you have been here for a bit, that is by far my favorite Coleus. Not only it performs super well in the sun, but also does well in the shade. And it's one of those plants that you can really just put it here and there as a filler, and it's just amazing. So I highly recommend that you look into Mighty Mosaic Coleus if you want to start some Coleus this year, because that's just by far my favorite. The other variety is Chocolate Mint, and I grew this variety a couple of years ago. I didn't grow it last year, but it does really well as well in the full sun or in the shade, and it is such a nice plant. It is such a nice moody dark color with this nice green lighting on the leaves. I love it. Many of you love it when I show you that video how to grow it. Definitely, if you're looking for a Coleus for full sun, Mighty Mosaic and Chocolate Mint are going to do really well for you. Now, I am trying a new variety this year, and I'm really excited. This one is Lime Delight. It is a nice soft green that I think is just going to do really well, and I am planning to grow a lot of these in my containers. And hopefully I can show you that, but I'm also going to offer it for the seedling sale. When it comes to Coleus for my home garden here in Indiana, I like to start them kind of early in the season. Early February is normally when I start most of my Coleus indoors. Here in Indiana, I am able to take all of these Coleus outside by the end of April or the beginning of May, and because Coleus is just a very slow grower indoors, it takes about 8 to 12 weeks to get the plants kind of big, to get them outside. So normally at the beginning of February is when I will start my Coleus. However, if I do that, I am going to be putting up my plants into huge containers. I like to grow them big. If you have been here for the past few years, you know that I love to get my seedlings already big before they get to transplant inside. But if you don't want to do that, you can definitely push it a few weeks later and get smaller plants. Now, this year, because I want to start most of these seedlings for the seedling sale, I really don't want to be selling Coleus in this size. This is just going to be too much work for me, too much potting soil to be spending on. But this is a good size. This is the 2.5 inch size containers that I am hoping these Coleus are going to be in the final pot. So this is the size that I'm shooting for, and that's why I'm starting my Coleus a little bit later in the month. So we'll see how they do. Hopefully they develop a nice root system. I am sure these plants are going to be amazing. And the mix that I'm going to be using is actually new for me, and I want to try it because, you know, this year I already did a test with a few other mixes, and I'm wanting to see how this one does. When it comes to starting Coleus or really any other seed that you want to grow inside, there's no right or wrong way to start your seeds. There are a lot of ways to get them to germinate. There are a lot of containers that you can use for getting your plants to grow. It's just a matter of taking a few things in consideration, but also it's going to be your personal choice. Today I'm going to be using these 5x5 inch trays with holes, and this is where I'm going to put my mix. And I am going to have another tray, small tray without holes, and the only reason why I'm using the bottom trays is just for bottom watering, but I can easily just skip this part and just have my main trays into a bigger tray, into a 10x20 tray. Now, the reason why I decided to use this kind of big containers is mainly because I want to get the seeds to germinate. And my goal really is just to get those seeds to germinate so that here in 3 or 4 weeks when they are big enough, because again, Coleus is a slow grower. It's going to take about 3 or 4 weeks before they're big enough to move into bigger containers. That's when I'm going to move them, probably something smaller than this. This is going to be my second potting. So I'll move these plants here in about a month into maybe a 6-cell plug, or maybe something smaller than that, depending on the size, depending how I feel on the day, and depending what I have available. I already added water to this mix. So I am going to fill up this really quick with my semi-wet mix, and I'm just going to show you how easy, very, very easy actually, it is to get Coleus to germinate. If you are wondering where I got all of the seeds for my Coleus, I got them from Pine Tree Garden Seeds, and they are the ones sponsoring this video. Let me show you the packages really quick, because I think that it's worth noting. You have all the information on how many weeks to start your seeds before your last frost date, if you need to cover or provide light for your seeds, how many days for germination, and the temperatures as well. The seeds come in this little cellophane little baggie. I'm glad, because I'll probably have them all over the place. I had been doing the whole seed starting thing for 6 years. This is my 6th season starting a bunch of plants from seed, both vegetables and flowers. And one company that I keep coming back to for ordering seeds that work, is Pine Tree Garden Seeds. Now, when I first started looking into seed starting my first year, I was a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of companies that I had to choose from in order to order my seeds. And in 2021, I had to go back and look at my records. 2021 was when I found Pine Tree Garden Seeds, and since then I have been one of the customers. Now, I don't buy my seeds from them exclusively, but I definitely get a lot of seeds from them, and if you want to verify this, you can just check all of my past seed starting videos from the last few years. And whenever I am trying to get a new seed from them, a new variety that I haven't tried before, I know that I'm going to get good results, because, well, my experience has been that the seeds just germinate and do really, really well. They are a small family-run business, which I love, and they're based in Maine. And I love that they still hand pack a ton of their seeds, some even using this old school baler machine from the 1800s, which is kind of wild and cool, to be honest. If I'm ever in Maine, I would love to visit and take a trip on how they do all of that. I think that would be really, really cool. But beyond that, their prices are really fair, and they have an amazing collection of vegetables, flowers, bulbs. That's where I got my garlic last year. So when they decided to sponsor this video, I was truly, truly excited, because this is a company that I already love and trust. They gave me a coupon for you guys, so if you're looking for seeds this season and want to support a great small business, I'll have all of that information in the video's description. This year, obviously, I got all of my Coleus from them, but I'm also going to try a bunch of Cosmos and Zinnias. But the Cosmos I'm going to show you next month, because it's too early right now for starting those. Now, the instructions for growing Coleus, it says to sow on the surface, meaning that you don't really want to cover the seeds. But what I am going to do, and I do this for every seed, whether I cover them with soil or not, is that I'm just going to gently apply a very, very thin layer of vermiculite. And the vermiculite that I like to use for when I'm starting seeds is the extra fine texture one. I don't like the chunky one. So the vermiculite is just going to help keep the moisture on the surface, because vermiculite absorbs moisture. So that's going to help the seeds to keep them nice and moist. This is Mighty Mosaics that I'm going to do next. And again, I have the tray with holes here and one without for bottom watering. And hopefully you can see that the seeds there are pelleted seeds. So tiny already, so I am glad that they come this way so that I can just see where they are, and they're very manageable. And I could just try to do this straight from the little container here, but I like to spread the seeds because I don't want like 5 of them to be in one single spot. I have plenty of space here, so I'm just trying to spread the seeds as far away possible from each other so that when they start growing, it's super easy for me to just scoop them out of here instead of having to find a bunch of them, a bunch of seeds just germinating. Hopefully you can see here how they are spread around this little container. So I have all of my Coleus already started. I have 3 varieties like I mentioned, and these guys are going to go right under my LED lights. Right now I have them turned off because of the video. And what I'm going to do is that I am going to put a dome over this, but I am going to give them a little bit of water first, just a little bit of spray. And they're going to go on top of a heat mat. Coleus is a warm loving plant, so it definitely likes warm temperatures in order to germinate. If you're growing your seeds in a basement or in a garage where it's on the cool side, you definitely want to invest in a heat mat to help your seeds to get germinating better. Now, it doesn't mean that Coleus is not going to germinate if it's in a cooler room. It just means that it's going to take a while for it to show you the results. So I already have a heat mat over here. I'm going to make some room and I am going to place these guys, and hopefully here in a couple of weeks I can give you an update on how these guys are doing. If you have any questions about anything that I mentioned on this video about growing Coleus, just let me know in the comments. Everything that I have here, the seeds, the soil, I am going to have all of the links below in the video's description. Also the coupon if you want to grab some seeds will be there as well. Thank you for being here, you guys, and I will see you on the next time.